Abby Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Make sure you vote February 24th, Election Day. Check all our videos out. At this point, Jewish Chicago has hit the street. If they're out at your location, and we're getting close to the election, so it could be that way, go to www.abbeyworld.com to check it out. It is a pleasure to bring you somebody who's involved in one of the most toughest, difficult political races he'll ever be in, running unopposed for election as treasurer, the present treasurer of the city of Chicago. Kurt Summers, how you doing?
Good, good. Certainly the toughest of my life so far. So.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, sure. I'm born and raised in Chicago, CPS kid. Grew up on the South Side in the Bronzeville area. Graduated from Whitney Young High School. I like to tell people I went to the elementary school that Derrick Rose went to and the high school that the First Lady went to. So
cool.
If kids don't think I'm cool after that, I don't have a shot. And then, we grew up in sort of very humble working family, lower middle class family, but really had a family and a community that really focused on investing in education. And so education was always very important to me. And I had a talent and a knack for math and finance, as I found in high school and then ultimately in college. I went to Washington University in St. Louis for undergrad, went to Harvard Business School,
wow,
where I studied finance as well. And really for my entire career, I've kind of been focused on mastering this craft and this expertise in finance and investments, but also giving back and answering the call to serve. So I was the Chief of Staff for the 2016 Olympic bid.
Nice.
I was the Chief of Staff for Toni Preckwinkle, her first Chief of Staff as the County Board President. And I also answered the call to help lead the bid for the Lucas Museum to come to Chicago. But this has been the greatest call I've gotten to date to serve, and I was happy to answer it.
It's very cool. And you actually have the right qualifications to be treasurer.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that against the law or something?
Right. Unfortunately, it's more the exception than the rule sometimes, right?
Yeah, but no, it sounds like Harvard Business School and all these other things. Toni Preckwinkle has been a frequent guest. I knew her a lot from the cable place when she was Alderman. She had a regular show.
Sure, yeah.
And she's always an interesting person to talk to and very straightforward.
Yeah.
I like her. So first of all, I want to thank, and I'm going to let you pronounce his last name. I'd like to thank Dean.
Now I'm going to mess it up. Alonis Theotis.
Thank you. And he's the one that originally called me about you. And I actually gave him a whole bunch of phone numbers for rabbis and business leaders.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have made the meeting. You can actually catch it on the internet. But you got this thing going, like 77 communities in 77 days. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah. So we just wrapped up recently, and we went to all 77 of the neighborhood areas in Chicago. There are 77 in a 77-day period. And a lot of folks would say, well, gee, why so many so soon? Why are you working so hard? You're unopposed. Why are you doing this? And I just felt like, this is the best way I know how to do my job. I can't be the best treasurer I can be, the best elected citywide representative I can be without going to the communities and seeing firsthand what the needs, challenges, and opportunities for investment and development are. You really can't govern in this role and be effective as an investor, as an advocate for Chicago, sitting in City Hall all day. And so it was sort of the only way I know how. I got great models like Toni Preckwinkle, who wears out the leather in her shoes, and I grew up in a family that had, was part of the Harold Washington movement of the late 70s and early 80s. My grandfather was his campaign manager.
Wow.
And so I like to tell people I got it honest, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that I know is that if you work hard and you're out in front of the community, you're accountable to the people who are hiring you for the job, and then you'll deliver, and people will see it.
I got to tell you, when I first originally heard the idea that you wanted to see what resources a neighborhood get and the money the city has to invest, and you wanted to check it out personally, I was like blown away. People aren't supposed to do that in government. You know, you're supposed to be corrupt, dishonest, not care about people, but no, you're treating this like it's a real job.
I didn't get that memo, you know. I didn't get that memo. No, it's, you know, that you take on roles like this because it's an honor to serve, right? Not because you need a lifelong job or you need a pension, or, you know, it's because there's a call to serve, and if you feel you're the right person and this is you being put to your highest and best use, then you got to work your butt off to try and do that and be creative and innovative in the process.
Yeah, and I want to let my fellow Jewish people know that he actually had a meeting over at Rabbi Eichenstein's synagogue with a number of community leaders, including bankers and stuff. But
Yeah.
he had a good. I mean, I was very impressed by that. And yeah, you're running unopposed, so that makes it especially cool. Do you have a website?
I do. It's www.summersforchicago.com.
And I mean, you're running unopposed. You're actually campaigning, or just, you know, meeting people, and it's part of life in Chicago.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I have the good fortune of not having to contrast myself against an opponent. I have the difficult task, though, of educating most residents in Chicago who don't even know that there's an elected city treasurer, or what that office does, or who that person is. And so, you know, there's a campaign within the campaign to really just be visible and be present and be of service in a way to communities that really this office hasn't been in a very long time. And I think that that, to me, is not so much campaigning, it's kind of the fun of the job, right?
It's a great attitude.
This 77-day tour, I went to parts of the city I had never been to before or seen before. Places, candidly, wasn't sure if I'd be welcome. And in every single place, not only was I welcome and was I embraced, but people were engaged, and there was a real sort of thirst and hunger for more, right? And having a relationship. So what we did in each community was we set up a couple thought leaders, and we said, we want you guys to organize think tanks and have regular relationship with our office. Forget about the campaign. Monthly calls with me, quarterly meetings with me.
That is great. At this point, though, I got to cut you off
Oh,
because somebody else
sorry.
is not going to have
No
time.
problem.
But Kurt Summers, we'd like you to come back after the election when
would
we can
love
give
to.
you a longer segment and get to know you better. And I want to wish you good luck. I want to thank
Thanks so much,
Kristen. I
Avi.
want to thank Dean, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Avi.